Hello there, this is Elise Benin of marketing-mentor.com, and this is the next in my new series called Marketing Blueprints, Excellent Examples. And today we're looking at excellent examples of LinkedIn profiles of designers. So the place we start is on the home page of marketing-mentor.com, and if you scroll down and you click on any one of these circles, you'll get to the main navigation, and we're going to the toolbox. So you click on the toolbox, and then you scroll down, not too fast, not too far, and you see excellent LinkedIn profile examples. And on that page, we're going to see a couple different categories. I have another marketing blueprint that focuses on the LinkedIn profiles of copywriters and content strategists. This one today is on designers. So we're going to look at most of these. But let's first start with mine, because I want to make one important point, and I'll use myself as the example. And if you haven't linked with me, please do. On LinkedIn, your title is the most important little piece of real estate you have. So if you do nothing else, make sure that your title is very strong. And I'm going to show you lots of different examples of titles, but I'll show you why it's so important. Most people aren't going to be on your profile. Most people are seeing you on LinkedIn in other places. So for example, right here under people also viewed, you'll notice that all we see is this guy's name, his image, headshot, and his title. And if your title isn't a good one, then I may not be compelled to click to find out more, and or I won't know anything else. So please take this very seriously and use it wisely. All right, so let's look at the first LinkedIn profile. This is Wendy Wood. And you can see her title says designer / creative strategist / visual storyteller. So feel free to use slashes in your title. And it's also got her tagline, which you'll also find on her homepage, spot on creative for your multi-deliverable projects. It's in a slightly different variation on her homepage, but it essentially makes the same point, which is the way she stands apart is by doing spot on creative for multi-deliverable projects. So she's speaking directly to her ideal clients here. And if you are one of these people with multi-deliverable projects, you know you're in the right place. Second, let's look at her summary. Her summary also speaks directly to her ideal prospects and provides an overview, a very simple overview of her services in a bulleted, easy to skim way. So, are you looking for a design strategist who provides spot-on creative, especially in print, and a flawless process for your complex multi-deliverable projects? So that, you'll notice, is a slight elaboration because there's more space here on her title. Why not? Then, Wendy Wood Design shines on all levels we offer, and then a simple bulleted list of the specific services offered, and then all of that backed by 20 years of Fortune 500 experience working with technology, financial and consumer brands, as well as startup companies of all kinds. The tone is friendly and confident, and it provides the credibility by highlighting her experiences in these markets. Next up is Karen Macklemore. And we're doing the women first, by the way. Karen's title, let's look at that first. Branding and Marketing for Higher Education, Professional Services, and Design for Ad Agencies' In-House Marketing Department. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but that's okay because it's got all the right keywords that her best prospects would be using to search for help like hers. And in fact, because people do use LinkedIn as a search engine, basically a professional search engine, she has gotten several projects for professional services firms, especially through LinkedIn. So that's one approach to the title. Now let's scroll down to her summary. You can see it's got more to it than Wendy's. Neither one is right or wrong. It really just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Now, Karen's is also speaking directly to her ideal prospects in the first person, and it's painting a picture of the role she can play and what she brings to the table from her experience to her emphasis on clear communication. So I want to point out how she's doing that because I think it's important. Here in the middle of her second paragraph, she says, I believe strong relationships founded in open communication and mutual respect are the key to success. Collaboration is another one of my guiding values. We'll be a good match if you want to be actively involved in sharing ideas and providing feedback to create the best outcomes. So if that describes you, prospect, then this might be a good fit. And that is really one of the things that she highlights as what sets her apart from other designers who offer similar services to similar markets. She also, I'll point out here, calls out to higher ed professionals. And she says, ever wish you had a proven freelance designer you could call at a moment's notice to tackle overflow work or to give a fresh eye to a project? Look no further, get in touch at, and then here is the web page. So that's a particular market of interest to her. So she has dedicated a bit of extra real estate to them on her LinkedIn profile. That's a strategy. And then third, if we scroll down a little bit more, again, she brings her personality and enthusiasm by saying, I love, in all caps, to sink my creative teeth into projects like, and then she has a list of the different types of projects. The tone here is also friendly and enthusiastic. All right, third up is Laura Foley. Laura, you can see by her title, which is variations of the keywords that her prospects would be looking for and a little humor. She says, cheater of death by PowerPoint, PowerPoint trainer, dynamic presenter, passionate PowerPoint defender. So you get the drift, you get the message here. If we look at her summary, I like the way she starts out. It's with a quote that someone reading it might have said to themselves or not. My goal for this presentation is to waste people's time and to be as boring as possible. How many times have you said this to yourself? Probably not too many. But if you create PowerPoint decks like most people do, your slides may be causing death by PowerPoint. So she sets up the problem and then positions herself as the solution. She also, by the way, shows examples on SlideShare on her LinkedIn profile. And the third point I want to make is that she is using this LinkedIn Pulse section, posts, as a blog. I mean, she has a blog, but this is in addition to her blog. So she's reposting what she has already posted on her blog here on the LinkedIn section called Pulse. And again, using her personality and humor, how to give an effective life or death presentation. All right, and our final woman designer, Jill Anderson, whose title, you'll notice, is actually her elevator pitch and is also the main message on her homepage, on her website, if you went there. It is, I make websites for creatives and their clients. It's very simple and straightforward. If you look at her summary, also, her summary speaks directly to the reader, and she takes a slightly different approach. She has 3 basic questions that represent the challenges that her ideal prospects face, and each paragraph is that question and her solution or answer to the question. So looking at the second one, for example, is it impossible to find a web developer that can design and code? Someone who loves typography and whitespace, as well as HTML, CSS, PHP, and JavaScript. I'm passionate about crafting custom, responsive WordPress sites that are easy to use. And the thing that's interesting about this strategy, in my opinion, is that it really speaks to the specific needs of 3 slightly different markets within that world of creatives. So she's narrowing even within what is already a relatively narrow market. All right, now let's look at what some of the men are doing. Here is Peter Levinson. And Peter's title, specializing in marketing for public-funded healthcare organizations, brand strategy, websites, and copy. So he runs a marketing firm, and he calls it that. And he comes right out in his title and says, I specialize in this particular market, this type of work for this particular market. And that is a relatively narrow market, but he's been at it a while and has narrowed down to this. And so he wants you to know, if you land on his site and you're one of them, he is exactly who you need. Then, if we scroll down to his summary, he takes a very different approach from the other ones that we've already seen. His summary is formal, and it's written in the third person, both of which is important to the people he's trying to speak to, these publicly funded healthcare organizations. So he says, Peter Levinson is principal and creative director of Levinson Block, LLC, a Brooklyn-based marketing agency that specializes in public-funded healthcare organizations. So he uses his LinkedIn profile to focus on a description about his firm and the services offered by his firm. And he also doesn't hesitate to bring some credibility by dropping some names, which is a very good thing to do in this type of situation. Peter is also using LinkedIn Pulse. His posts here, you can see, for thought leadership and to position himself as an expert. And what I really want you to look at is how many posts. You can see there are 37. And he publishes about once a month, sometimes twice a month. So that's good. That's not too much. It's not too little. And some of them you'll see are actually videos. So if you wanted to get a sense of Peter as a person, which most people do, you could click on one of these and see the video. All right. And finally, Robert Rutledge. So you'll notice that Robert doesn't have his headshot there yet, but in the meantime, he's got a very effective background image that represents the world that he works in, which is retail, and his title is Global Store Development Strategist and Retail Designer. Very simple and clear. And it emphasizes the consulting aspect of the work he's looking for at this point in his career. If you scroll down to his summary, his is also more formal, but it is written in the first person. And in it, he talks about why specific types of clients hire him and for what, which is him essentially describing the types of projects he's looking for. And he also provides credibility with the good type of name dropping also. So he describes the types of projects. Retail clients hire me to imagine new ideas around existing concepts, to give form to new store concepts, remodel existing stores, or to design new furniture, fixture, and lighting elements to revive an existing store environment. And I'll just read a little bit aloud from the third paragraph. Past clients include major projects for, and then lots of names that you would recognize. So that's a very effective strategy. And then my third point is that he also is using LinkedIn Pulse. He's actually using LinkedIn as his website in addition to as his blog. And you'll notice that the 3 posts here already form a part of a series, a content marketing thought leadership series called Retail Forecast: Will Department Stores Survive? And so far he's got 3 episodes in that series, and it's getting a lot of good traction. So thank you for listening. As with everything, there is no right way to do your LinkedIn profile. That's why I'm doing this series of excellent examples. And I do hope you'll link with me if you haven't. And if I can help in any other way, please be sure to sign up for my free mentoring session. And if you don't already get them, sign up for my quick tips from Marketing Mentor, which you can find here. I'll show you where. Free tips. Wait for it. Right there. It's in a couple different places. All right. Thanks so much.